An ordinary shopping trip turned explosive when Melania Trump faced an unexpected confrontation at a crowded mall. The morning sun bathed Los Angeles' Beverly Center in a warm glow, a bustling hub where shoppers from all walks of life crossed paths. Among them was a woman whose face had graced countless headlines, Melania Trump. Dressed in understated elegance, she blended into the crowd, her head slightly tilted down to avoid unnecessary attention. To a casual observer, she appeared just like anyone else, scanning racks of tailored blouses and silk scarves. However, for those who recognized her, the moment carried a strange sense of novelty. The former First Lady shopping without an entourage or fanfare. It was supposed to be an ordinary day. Melania browsed quietly in a high-end boutique, occasionally running her fingers over fabrics while soft classical music played overhead. The hum of muted conversations filled the air, creating an atmosphere of exclusivity. She paused near a display of handbags, her gaze lingering on a sleek black clutch. For a fleeting moment, she smiled to herself, imagining a perfect occasion to carry it. But the peace of her morning was short-lived. From across the store, a woman's voice cut through the cam, sharp, loud, and unmistakably directed at her. "Oh, you've got some nerve showing your face here." Heads turned and conversations faltered. The speaker was a woman in her early 30s, dressed casually but carrying an air of righteous indignation. She had no hesitation in making her feelings known, her piercing eyes locking firmly on Melania. For a moment, Melania froze, her hand still resting on the clutch. Then, with practiced composure, she turned to face her accuser, her expression unreadable. The room seemed to shrink as tension filled the space, and onlookers exchanged uneasy glances. But the confrontation was just beginning, and no one in that boutique could have anticipated what would happen next. Rising in intensity, the woman's voice pierced the stillness. "You think you can just walk around like you're one of us after everything? Unbelievable." Gasps rippled through the crowd, their curiosity shifting into concern. The woman's words were laced with anger, but there was something more, an edge of personal frustration, as though Melania symbolized more than just herself. Calm and poised, Melania turned to face her accuser, her features firm yet unflinching. With her hands resting at her sides, she met the woman's gaze directly, her quiet confidence only seeming to further agitate her. "You stand there acting like nothing's happened, like the world hasn't changed. People like you are the reason we're in this mess." The woman spat, her voice shaking with emotion. The room seemed to hold its breath as a boutique worker cautiously approached, unsure whether to intervene. Melania, however, waited, letting the tension build. Finally, her voice broke the silence, low and deliberate. "I don't know you, but I can see you're upset. Perhaps you'd like to talk privately." The offer, spoken with restraint, caught the woman off guard. She hesitated, her anger briefly dimmed by surprise, but it wasn't long before she snapped back. "Privately? Oh no, you don't get to hide from this. People need to see who you really are." The crowd grew larger, shoppers lingering by the entrance, phones out and cameras angled at the escalating scene. As the woman's voice grew louder, tension reached a boiling point. Then, someone unexpected stepped forward from the crowd, shifting the dynamics. The crowd pressed in closer, their curiosity outweighing any discomfort. "You represent everything that's wrong with this country. How dare you walk around here like you're untouchable?" the woman yelled. Melania didn't flinch. Her calm demeanor, far from calming the situation, seemed to fuel the woman's rage. "You've hurt so many people. Do you even care? Or are you just another symbol of privilege pretending to understand the rest of us?" The tension was now palpable, almost suffocating. Every eye in the boutique was locked on the confrontation, the air filled with murmurs and the faint clicks of phone cameras capturing the moment. Employees stood frozen, unsure whether to step in or let the drama unfold. An ordinary shopping trip turned explosive when Melania Trump faced an unexpected confrontation at a crowded mall. Her gestures grew more erratic, Los Angeles' and her voice trembled as she spoke, People like me, hub where shoppers
we're
from
the
all
ones who
walks
suffer.
of life crossed paths.
While people like you
Among them was a
just
woman
exist.
whose face had
You
graced
have no
countless
idea
headlines.
what it's like to be on the
Melania
other
Trump,
side.
dressed in
Words carried a
understated
weight
elegance
that silenced the
she
crowd.
blended into the crowd.
It was clear this was
Her head
about
slightly
more than
tilted
just
down
Melania.
to avoid
The
unnecessary
woman's anger
attention.
stemmed from a deeper
To a
frustration.
casual observer,
long buried.
She appeared
Now,
just
unlike
like
anyone
anyone
else,
else, symbol she couldn't
scanning
ignore.
racks of tailored
Melania
blouses
stood
and silk
firm,
scarves.
her gaze steady.
However, I
For those
understand
who
you're
recognized
angry.
her, she said.
The moment carried
her
a
voice
strange
measured.
sense of novelty.
But this isn't the way
The
to.
former first
Don't
lady
you dare tell
shopping
me how
without
to
an
feel.
entourage or
The woman
fanfare.
interrupted.
It was
her
supposed
voice
to be an
rising to a
ordinary
shout.
day.
Her
Melania
face
brushed
browsed quietly,
and her
in a
hands
high-end
trembled
boutique.
as she gestured
Occasionally
wildly
running
around
her
the
fingers
room.
over fabrics.
You walk
while
around
soft
with your
classical
head high
music
while the
played
rest of
overhead.
us are struggling.
The hum of
Do
muted
you even see
conversations
us?
filled the
Do
air,
you care?
creating an
The
atmosphere
crowd was
of
now a sea
exclusivity.
of phones.
She paused
Their
near a
lenses
display of
capturing every
handbags,
second of the
her
heated
gaze
exchange.
lingering on a sleek
Some
black
whispered
clutch.
support for
For
Melania,
a fleeting moment,
while others nodded
she
in
smiled to
agreement
herself,
with the woman's fiery
imagining
words.
a perfect occasion
The
to carry
atmosphere
it.
was electric,
But the peace of her
charged with
morning was
conflicting
short-lived.
emotions.
From
But
across
just
the
as
store,
it seemed like the
a
tension
woman's
might
voice
boil
cut
over,
through the cam.
a voice
Sharp,
from the crowd
loud,
rang out,
and
cutting
unmistakably
through the chaos
directed at
like
her.
a knife.
Oh,
That's enough.
You've got some
The
nerve
voice
showing your
belonged to
face
someone
here.
unexpected.
Heads turned
As
and
the crowd
conversations
turned to
faltered.
see who had
The
spoken.
speaker was a
The
woman in her
entire
early
dynamic
30s,
shifted in an instant.
dressed casually,
The
but
voice
carrying
came
an
from
air
an
of
elderly
righteous
man
indignation,
whose presence
she had no
commanded immediate
hesitation in
attention.
making her feelings known.
Despite his unassuming
Her piercing
appearance
eyes
and a
looking
simple
firmly on
button-down
Melania.
shirt and khakis,
For a moment,
he had the
Melania
quiet authority
froze,
that stopped
her
people
hand
in
still
their
resting
tracks.
on the clutch.
His silver
Then,
hair gleamed under
with
the
practiced
boutique's
composure,
lighting as he stepped
she
forward.
turned to face her
His eyes
accuser,
scanning both
her
Melania
expression
and the woman with
unreadable.
calm intensity.
The room seemed to shrink
That's
as
enough.
tension filled the
He
space.
repeated, and
This
this
time
time
more
exchanged
firmly.
uneasy
The
glances.
crowd parted slightly
But the
to let him
confrontation
through.
was just beginning.
Their curiosity
and no
now
one in that
tinged with
boutique could have
surprise.
anticipated
The
what
woman,
would happen next.
startled by the interruption,
Rising in intensity,
turned to face him.
The woman's voice
"And who are
pierced
you
the
supposed
stillness.
to be?
You
She
think you
snapped,
can just walk
her anger
around
still
like you're one
simmering.
of us after
The
everything?"
man didn't flinch.
Unbelievable.
Instead,
Gasps
he
rippled
looked
through
her
the
directly
crowd.
in the eye and
Their
said,
curiosity
"I'm someone
shifting
who's
into
tired of seeing
concern.
people tear
The
each other
woman's
apart.
words were laced with
We've all
anger.
got our
But
frustration.
there was something more.
But this,
an edge
this
of
isn't
personal
the way to fix
frustration.
anything."
As though
His
Melania
words hung in the
symbolized
air.
more than just
Heavy